So again, I'm Gabrielle Hines. I'll be your MC for today. I'm super excited to be a part of our Girls in Action Summit for today. This is such a great opportunity for us to get together and network and learn more about what the Girls in Action Summit is all about. So I'm super excited to get started. So just a little bit about me. I am a Chester County native. I grew up in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Graduated from Coatesville High School, proud alumni, and I went to undergrad at Muhlenberg College in Allentown, studied theater and music there, and now I pursue acting professionally, both on stage, TV commercial, just dipping and dabbing and all of that. I try to make it a point to always come back to Chester County and just to keep on trying to develop the theater scene here as well. So I direct at Coatesville High School in the spring and also involved with revival productions in Coatesville as well. So I'm super excited to be here and kind of get things moving here in our Girls in Action Summit. So I wanted to start with a bit of a icebreaker, if we will. We asked you guys what are some things that you're doing right now in quarantine, and we got a huge long list. And I saw one of those things were Netflix, of course, getting a lot of binging in myself. Something that came out during the beginning of quarantine was a show called Tiger King. Stirred up a lot of controversy, started a lot of conversation. So if you want to just drop down in the chat if you saw Tiger King, maybe drop some thoughts on what you thought about the documentary. And I think the most pressing question to ask is, do you think Carol did it? Now, if you didn't see Tiger King, you can definitely do a little Google search and probably get as much information as you need. But go ahead and just drop down in the chat what you thought about Tiger King if you saw it and if you think Carol did it. Now, personally, I have my own thoughts on Tiger King and Carol Baskin, the one and the only. I'll say my thoughts and just see what you guys think. It was a very, very wild documentary, if you want to even call it that. One of my best friends actually was like, you have to watch this. And I saw it and I was like, I don't think that's something that would interest me. But I gave it a go, and it definitely kept my attention. Okay, so I see some people, some yeses, definitely. I have to, I don't know. I don't know. It's up in the air, right? Innocent until proven guilty. I guess I'll go with that one. We can also drop down in the chat. What are some other things you guys have been doing on quarantine, or maybe some new things that you've tried or are learning during quarantine? I have been working on some super fun DIY projects. A specific one that I like really love. I've been taking like my old Bath and Body candles. I had like a bunch laying around, and there are some ways that you can take it, get the wax out, and then you can use the glass and the lid as a container. So you literally just like boil hot water, pour that into the candle holder. That brings all the wax up to the top. You can pop the wax out, you clean the glass, and then you have this amazing, great container that you can use literally for anything. So I have a bunch of those now on my desk. They look super like pristine and fancy, but they're literally just recycled Bath and Body candles. I put like my earrings, you can put like cotton balls, stuff like that. Super great, fun stuff. Just a DIY project I've been doing during this time. Another thing that I have been just giving it a go, trying it out, is we started a garden in our backyard. The whole frenzy around grocery shopping and this panic and fear that seemed to like sweep over the country about like not having enough food kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my own. So we started a garden in our backyard. We're growing watermelon, tomatoes, onions, blackberries. It's really random, but I wanted to make sure I was going to grow things that I know that I like, and I love all of those things. So I was like, why not? Let's give it a go. I'm happy to say that we're seeing some budding coming up. All this work isn't for nothing, and it was a lot of hard work. My area is very woodlandy, so we have deer and squirrels and lots of animals that would love to eat all of these vegetables that we're growing. So we put up a fence around it, dug up the grass to make sure it was all fertile and ready to go. So I'm excited to see what comes out of this project that I never would have done if we weren't quarantined from a virus. I never even would have thought of to do this, but we're doing it, and I'm super excited to see what comes out of it. I'm hoping lots of stuff that we can enjoy over the summer and fresh food that I can take pride in and saying that I grew myself. So it's been really important for me to kind of make sure my attitude towards being in quarantine is positive and that some productivity is coming out of there. So definitely important. So let's see what we have answer-wise. Okay. So go ahead and drop your answers in the chat. What are some things that you've been doing during quarantine? I see tennis as one. I tried tennis like way back in the day when I was super little. I was really into it for like a hot second, kind of fell off. But that is like a super fun sport, and it's a great way to like get people involved, and like the competitive nature comes out. Super fun, and it burns a lot of calories, which is great. Learning ASL, that's awesome. Learning another language, adding on to those skills, that's super awesome. It's a great skill to have. Baking, yes, I love baking. Well, I love when people bake for me. But I have tried my hand. I baked keto friendly brownies. Yeah, came out better than I thought. I was actually pleasantly surprised. They were great and low carb, so that's awesome. Go ahead and drop down in the chat what you're baking. What are some recipes that you're trying? I see a rainbow cake. Kudos to you, because I'm sure that took some time and some science to make sure all the colors are where they're supposed to be. That's awesome. Playing with my sister. Oh, that's great. During the first couple of weeks of quarantine, actually, we were watching my cousins because their mom was an essential worker at the VA hospital here in Coatesville. So they would stay with us while she was at work until she was able to work from home. And I tell you what, that is no joke. Watching some younger kids. My cousins are 8 and 1 years old, and they kept me on my toes all day long. But we had such a great time, and it was a super fun time to bond with them because we don't get that time when it's usual throughout the year. So that was great. New volleyball net. Kudos to you. That's great. I love volleyball. That's another great sport that involves people all together. Super fun. Baking sugar cookies, yes. Oh, I love it. All great things. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, so I'm glad to see that we're all doing fun stuff during quarantine. So I think we're ready to introduce our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker for today is Moaning Davis. We're super excited to have her. Just a little bit about Monet. Monet is a Philadelphia native, and she was one of 2 girls who played in the 2014 Little League World Series. And Monet was the first girl to earn a win and pitch a shutout. She's just finished her first year at Hampton University, and we're super excited to have her. So I'm gonna invite Monet to pop on, and let's learn more about Monet.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a glitch in connection. So, here's Monet.
Hello,
Hi, Monet. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so great to speak with you. I have a lot of baseball enthusiasts in my house, believe it or not. My dad, my brother, my uncle, they're all baseball coaches. So we were all rooting for you way back in 2014.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. So we'll just chat a little bit, get to know you better. So I just wanted to start with, how are you doing during this COVID-19 quarantine time?
I'm doing fine. I think, I was better at the beginning just because I'm such a homebody and I'm so used to being home that didn't really affect me. But now that it's been extended, it's kind of getting to me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going out and playing different sports, hanging out with my teammates. So it kind of took a toll towards, right now. But I'm just trying to figure out other things to do, trying to busy myself throughout the day so that the days go by faster and then just sleep at night.
Right. I'm definitely in the same boat. I've been trying to not go to bed as late and not sleep in as late, just to try to get some normalcy back in, and try to stay to a schedule, but we only really hope for the best at this point. So you became a celebrity pretty much overnight when you were the only girl to pitch a shutout in a Little League World Series. How did you handle all of that pressure at the time?
I just had, my teammates around me and my coaches that they just basically, kept me the same person. But I would just say I was, like, growing up, I was always just raised to always be humble. We were our coaches kind of warned us that, we were like a fan favorite going into it and that there would be a lot of people want to take pictures and autographs and stuff. But we didn't really expect what happened to happen. It was the soccer to all of us, but just being raised right, having the right morals, being respectful, just growing up the right way was, a huge part of how I handle all that happened.
Mm-hmm. And how was it being one of the only girls in that position? I know that can have its pros and cons in a way. So if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so I've been on an all boys team since I was 7. So I was kind of used to being the only girl who went to different tournaments or just being on the team. So that didn't really affect me. But there's those guys out there who will just because you're a girl, they'll be like, oh, you're not that good. They just judge you because you're a girl and not because of how you play. So there was this one time where a kid from the Tennessee team, we were in the rec room playing ping pong, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit a homer off of you." And I was like, "All right, you're not helping yourself by saying that because now when you come up, you make me want to do you like I'm gonna pitch 10 times better because you said that. Like I'm gonna prove you wrong." But I've always been the only girl, so it didn't really affect me that much. But it was nice to have another girl from Canada who was playing as well. It was nice to kind of settle down at night in our little cabin that we stayed in and just talk to each other and get to know each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you got used to it to a point. So getting to have someone that you can like have that shared experience with, definitely, I feel like would make a difference. So that's awesome. So after the Little League World Series, your team did an extensive bus tour to pay tribute to Jackie Robinson and the Negro League and the Civil Rights Movement, which is amazing. Could you tell us a bit about your experience with that and how that impacted you?
Yeah, so basically like leading up to summer of 2015, my baseball team, the Anderson Monarchs, we studied the roots and a bunch of different civil rights movies and videos. And we had for 6 months, we had to sit and watch movies and videos for 6 months to learn more about the civil rights, to go more in depth because I was learning about it in 8th grade, but we didn't go too far in depth. So we went in depth with that, and then we went to the South. We went to Atlanta, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi. Like we went to a bunch of places to see some of those historic sites. So we went to the 16th Street Baptist Church in Alabama on my 14th birthday. And if some people don't know, but there were 4 little girls who were 14 who died at church because of a bomb. So we went there, got to meet one of the girls who's passed, sister. We got to go to the civil jam in Atlanta. Got to walk across the Selma Bridge. So we got to do a lot of things that, you know, you saw during the civil rights movement. And it was pretty cool. But, like, at the same time, it, like, also kind of sent, like, shivers, like, chills down my body because, like, that didn't happen too long ago. Like, literally happened during some parents' timeline, some of your family members' timeline. So, like, it was kind of scary to sit in those positions because you think back to what happened during those times, and like you don't know how to feel because people that they have the same skin color that I have, like they were beaten and tortured and just not treated like regular human beings, which is just sad. But that was one of my favorite experiences I've ever had in my life. I know a lot of my teammates will say the same. And it's something that I'll never forget, and I just get speechless whenever like I think about it because there's just no words that can describe that experience.
Right, yeah. And just something as what we would think as simple as playing baseball compared to then and to now, like how much weight that holds and still holds today because we're continuing that legacy. So that's super awesome that you were able to, you were able to pay homage in that way. That's really awesome. So I guess outside of baseball, just to take a little left turn here, what are some of your biggest passions? Maybe something you're interested in school or some other activities you like to do?
You know, I just like to, you know, I'm just all about sports. Like sports has always been my life, really. So I watch a lot of sports. But you know, for the past like 4 or 5 years, I've been really into watching women's soccer. I'm a big fan of sneakers. I love sneakers. I love shoes. I love certain clothes. I mean, I don't really get dressed. Like, I wear a lot of sweatpants, a lot of hoodies and stuff. So I don't really get dressed. I can't really say fashion, but, you know, just some clothes I like to look at, some jewelry. And I just really like to, you know, hang out with my friends. That's, like, big to me, you know, to be able to just, you know, go outside and just hang out, play how we used to play when we were, like, 10, ride our bikes around. So I just love to, you know, just have a positive vibe around me, good energy, and I just love having fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. So this was your first year at Hampton University and HBCU. How did that go, and why did you choose Hampton?
So yeah, it was pretty fun for the first, I don't even know how many months, but you know, all the way up until the pandemic happened. It was a lot of fun. It was different for me because I went to a predominantly white high school, so to be able to go to make that switch, it was a little bit different, but it wasn't too bad. And, you know, just to be able to focus on one sport was kind of new to me. I wasn't used to it, and it was a sport that I wasn't too familiar with. But, you know, all the girls on the team, they helped me out. The coaches helped me out a lot. But those early, so getting up early to go to weights, to run, and then go to class, and then right after class go to practice. So it was a lot, but you know, as time went on, I got used to it, and it became a lot of fun. Once the season came, we started really clicking as a team. We started really, you know, trusting each other and having fun with each other. So like the last couple weeks that we were together was just amazing. It was one of my best times, like one of my favorite times with the team. So it was kind of sad of like how it ended, but you know, I was really grateful for the first year that I had, and I'm excited for the next 3.
Right, yeah. It breaks my heart that this whole year was cut off for so many students because especially in your position, I mean, college in general, you just don't forget any of it, but your first year is so pivotal and important. And I'm glad that you had a really positive experience about it. So it only goes up from here. I got 3 more years to enjoy it, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's great. So what is your biggest what has been your biggest challenge? And I guess you can maybe speak to this first year, because I know going to college has its own challenges, but you can also speak back to your time with the Little League World Series. What were some of your biggest challenges and how did you overcome them?
Biggest challenges. I mean, just, being away from home for the first year, that was a big challenge for me because I felt like I just wanted to come home every weekend because I'm pretty shy when I meet new people. I don't like to talk to a lot of people. I like to, stay reserved and observe people before I kind of open up. So I really didn't, like it. I didn't know too many people around, and I just, didn't want to be that far from home. Didn't want to be that far away from my friends because, we grew up together. We've been friends for more than half our lives. So just being away from, friends and family was kind of hard at first. But, it got better. I just focused on what I had to do. I, just went there. It was like, all right, I'm going to work hard during softball, work hard in the classroom, and this time should fly by because everyone says those 4 years fly. So I'm like, I'm just going to get done what I need to get done, and hopefully, and as time went on, better. Flew by, but a challenge that I had when I was younger, I don't know. I'd probably say around like 13, 14, when the guys start hitting puberty and they become a lot stronger. That was pretty challenging because I had to really work on fast, not all speed pitch, because a fastball won't really overpower anybody anymore because they're 10 times stronger. But that was really some of the challenges. And they're not super big at the same time in sports. Things will make a difference if you don't learn how to, throw commands or curveball or command to really make or break a game. Those are just a few challenges. I didn't really have too big of a challenge.
Well, that's good in itself. So what has been your proudest moment up to date?
My proudest moment? Really just probably committing to a college and, choosing the right college. That's a challenge as well. That time is pretty stressful, choosing the right college that's the right fit for you, where you'll be there for 4 years by yourself. You're growing as a person, growing as a player. You have to really trust your coaches and teammates. So that was a big challenge for me, and also, one of my proudest moments too was just finding a team where I fit in, I feel comfortable, we're treated like family. So just choosing the right college, that was probably my proudest moment for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always say there are 3 moments that I will never want to do again. It's the SAT, the driver's test, and choosing a college.
I agree with 2 of those.
Those are some heavy decisions. And to think back now, I'm 24. So to think back to being 17 and 18 and making those big decisions, it's a lot of pressure. So yeah. So I also always cautioned on the side of wherever you go, that's where you're supposed to be, whether it's the right choice or not, that's where you're supposed to be for that moment. Okay, so we're getting closer to the end of our questions. I just wanted to encourage the ladies that are watching, go ahead and drop that in the chat if you have any questions that you want to ask Monet. Put them there and we'll send them her way. But Monet, just a couple more questions from me. What are your future plans? I know it's kind of trippy to think about. You just finished your first year of college, but do you have any post-grad plans at the moment that you've been tossing around or thinking about?
Yeah, so right after I graduate, I want to spend a year of basically just traveling the country. I'm not gonna go too in depth in it because I want to keep it a secret, but I just want to go to just travel the country, explore different sports. Just because that's something that I truly love doing. I love traveling and then going to different baseball parks, just seeing different cities. Like that's a big thing for me. So that's like the very first thing I want to do right out of college. And I want to do it within a year, which would be pretty hard, but I think it'll be pretty fun. Bring some friends and teammates along with me. But I think like the first couple years is really just exploring to figure out what I really want to do.
Right.
I'm studying communications right now. So like a TV show, things along those lines. Like those are pretty cool and interesting to me. But it could change next week. It could change in 2 days. So I'm really just keeping an open mind and just kind of figuring out as I go.
Absolutely, yeah. Opportunities are gonna just come from everywhere once you leave. I know that I've done a lot of things since I graduated I never thought that I was gonna do. So it's awesome that you have an open mind about that. Yeah. So we have a couple questions coming in. Inquiring minds want to know, do you have a TikTok?
I do have a TikTok. I don't post as much on it anymore. I used to do them with my teammates in college, to pass time. That was something fun we had. But TikTok has changed a lot since when I first started on it. And it has not, gone in the right direction. So I try not to go on as much. But it's just something to pass time. I think it's cool. So yeah, I do have a TikTok, but I don't go on it as often.
That's awesome. That's so funny because back in my day, right, it was like Instagram was new and Snapchat was new. So it's funny that you talk about like the evolution of TikTok in that way.
I like Vine over TikTok though.
Awesome. Good. Glad to hear it. So we have some more questions here. How do you work on your mental toughness and training? It's a good one.
I just try to stay positive. I know this year I went into the season just thinking, no matter what happens, think next play. So I always just try to stay positive, try to have a smile on my face, because you're gonna make mistakes. But I think energy is contagious. So if you're down, your teammates will be down. They'll feed off your energy. But I think I kind of got it from just growing up playing with guys, because guys like to talk trash all the time, especially being an only girl. They'll just try to get in your head and take you out of your game. So being able to ignore those people, kind of really set was like the marking point for me. Like, all right, if I wanted to do this, I have to get used to this, and I have to become a stronger person, to not let these outside distractions get to me while I'm playing my game. But I always try to, if you stay positive, you'll have positive outcomes. So try not to, get too down on yourself, and just always think next play, because you can't, if you dwell on this play, and then next thing you know, you'll get another ball or you get another opportunity, and you're still dwelling on the last play, that it'll affect you for the next play that you're gonna have. So I just try to stay positive, just think to myself like, all right, everyone makes mistakes, just move on from it. And, maybe after the game, I might, I should have had that, or should have had this. But then as soon as, get that out of my system, just forget it and move on.
Yeah, that's awesome advice, just to look forward and keep pushing forward in that way. That's awesome. Here's another question. After going to a predominantly white high school, did you feel culture shock when you got to Hampton?
Not really. I grew up, in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, so it wasn't really a shock to me. It was something cool, just to relate to more people around you. I got to, meet new people who kind of had the same, background, but also different backgrounds. So it was cool, to really relate to a lot of my classmates, really, and a lot of other people around the school.
Right. Awesome. Do you plan to write another book? So do you maybe want to touch on your first one?
Yeah, so I want to say, like 2014 through 2015, I wrote a book. It's called Moaning Davis, Remember My Name. It was just a book just of how, you know, from when I first started all the way until the point I was at the moment, which is, you know, finishing 8th grade. So it's it's not too long. It's just about how my journey and how I got started playing sports. You know, just something quick and simple. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna, maybe in the future, but definitely not right now. When I accomplish more, you know, I think I'll try to write another book. You know, it wasn't too bad, but it was also, I had a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. I think Next Play would be a good title, so you might want to keep that in your back pocket.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you already got it. What's your second favorite sport?
I don't know. I love playing all of them. They all have a special, you know, special love for me. They all have a special place in my heart. But you know, I mean, I would probably say it's just tied between basketball and soccer, really. Both running, you know, get to be pretty physical, which is pretty cool. But I don't know, it's a tie between those two. I've had some great times with basketball, had some great times with soccer. So yeah, it's a toss up between basketball and soccer.
Okay, cool. So tips for people wanting to get better at sports.
I'd say, you know, really put in the work and time. I mean, if you work hard, you'll really see results. Some people kind of rely on their talents, but you know, talents can only take you to a certain point. So really work hard, dedicate your time to whatever sport you want to do. Those are two of the biggest things. But really, like, have fun. If you're having fun with it, it'll change your mindset. It'll change how you play the game. So always just have fun, but work hard. You know, the times that you're in now, they're gonna suck. Especially like working out, waking up early. It's not gonna be fun at the moment, but it'll pay off at the end. So you know, just really keep your mindset straight. Work hard, just have fun, really.
Awesome. And our last question, super heavy and deep. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food, probably some pizza. Yeah, pizza, lasagna, pasta, yeah.
Solid. Well, Monet, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. It was so super great to get to know you better. I wish the best for you in your upcoming years in school and whatever you decide to do after that. And we just appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Enjoy this time in quarantine the best that you can.
You too.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. So that was Moaning Davis. Super fun to learn more about her and get to speak with her. And I hope you guys got to take a lot in from that conversation with her as well. I think what stuck out to me the most probably is how humble she is about everything that she goes through. And I think that's such a great quality to keep close and near and dear, because that allows just for so many more opportunities to come your way. So yeah, so we are coming up on our first break right on time. Before we go to our break, I wanted to announce our first raffle winner, which is, drum roll, Samantha Valancourt. Congratulations, Samantha Valancourt. You have won a $35 Lush card. Congratulations. That is some good stuff. So keep an eye out for an email with more information about how we'll get that card to you. Everybody else, do not worry. We are drawing 2 more names at the end of our session. So stay with us. But right now, we're going to give you guys a break. Go to the bathroom, grab something to eat. We're going to play some music, and we'll be back at 3:45. All right? Thanks, guys. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our little break and enjoyed that interview with Monet. Super awesome. So now we are going to jump into our next part of the summit, which is grant making. So we're going to learn about the needs in our communities, nonprofits, giving monies to organizations in effective ways. So I am going to turn it over to Maeve to talk more about the Girls Advisory Board and philanthropy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We're really excited to have you all here. My name is Maeve Kelly. I'm the Communications and Program Associate at Chester County Fund for Women and Girls, and I also run our girls program. So that includes our Girls Advisory Board program and our Girl Gov Chester County program, which is focused on policy advocacy and civic engagement. And so today I'll be talking a little bit more about philanthropy and our Girls Advisory Board. So let's get started. So what's philanthropy really? Philanthropy is a big word that really just at the end of the day means to give or love of humanity. So usually it refers to giving money, but it can also include giving in other ways. So some examples of those would be volunteering your time, sharing a special skill with the community, or, you know, it's just another way to show kindness, express what you care about in the world and the difference that you would like to make in the world. And you always, you know, of course, can do that through a gift of money, time, or talent. And so grant making refers to a gift of money, and that can be grant making to an organization, which is what you all will be doing today, or it could be to an individual. So for example, maybe, you know, when COVID-19 began, you or your parents donated some money to a food bank or another important community resource that you wanted to, you know, help support during this time of great need. And so just to pivot a little bit to our Girls Advisory Board, it's a program, a girls grant making program that provides girls entering 10th and 11th grades with an opportunity to learn firsthand about the deep and varied needs in their communities. So the girls in our program learn about philanthropy and the importance of giving back to the community. They come together from all different schools in areas of the county to discuss pressing social issues. They meet with nonprofits doing boots on the ground work to help women and girls. They collaborate with their peers to fund local organizations through strategic grant making, which is what you'll learn a little bit more about today. They also participate in community service projects and get to know influential women in Chester County. And so the exciting part of today is that you're all philanthropists. So you'll hear from local nonprofits about impacts of COVID-19 on the women and girls that they serve. You'll have a chance to cast your vote for which two organizations you believe should receive a $500 grant. And then those funds will help nonprofits stay responsive in these difficult times, help them continue to serve women and girls as these needs arise. And these needs will be more long-term as well. And just to point out, we want to reiterate that you can all be philanthropists even now. It doesn't take a lot of money at all, and any contribution is meaningful and makes you a philanthropist. So for instance, you can take that $5 or $10 a month you might spend on Starbucks and put that toward a cause or an organization that you really care about. And that's a perfect example of philanthropy. And over time, that money is so valuable to an organization working to better the community. So if you're inspired today, please, we really encourage you to share your experience with peers or other adults in your life to join you in this cause of philanthropy. There are so many different ways you can use your voice to make a difference. So, you know, just choosing one as a first step and then building from there, building your knowledge and your confidence from there is really just a way to be involved in the community and give back and be a part of philanthropy. For example, using your voice as a complement to philanthropy. So that's a really powerful way to get the message across, to just build more support for your cause. So if you're passionate about an issue, an organization, or a population that could benefit from more exposure, that's a great way to speak up and to talk about what you're doing to support that issue, organization, or population. It just helps to maximize your dollars, connections, or influence for a cause that you really care about. and also recognizing that you can do more working together than you could on your own. And if you feel frustrated about something, about an issue, and you really want to impact it and have a change now, philanthropy is a great way to do that. One final example, so you can gather information, you can spotlight it. So you could write a letter to the editor. You could create social media posts on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you use social media, or share existing posts with others. Another great way is to advocate for an issue. So that could look like contacting your elected officials, organizing a petition at your school or in your community, or planning a community service project. And finally, one other way to use your voice hand in hand with philanthropy is to convene and mobilize others. So you could speak at a school event, hold a bake sale or a craft sale to generate money and awareness, start a crowdfunding campaign through a platform like GoFundMe or a Facebook fundraiser, or you could engage your classmates in a giving circle. So that could look like, each one of your friends contributes a small amount of money, and then together as a group, you decide where you want to give that money, where you want to make an impact. So that's just a little bit more about philanthropy and grant making. County are addressing and being responsive to those emerging needs. So first, you'll hear from Sarah, who is a member of our board, and Wendy, the executive director at a nonprofit called Mom's House. And after Wendy speaks, everyone will see a purple thought bubble pop up on the screen. And at that point, I will pause the video to give everyone time to record questions to what time to collect their thoughts. You can then we'll restart the video and move on to the next piece. So let's.
Hi everyone. Let's talk about childcare and the burden placed on mothers right now. Even before the pandemic, women were 10 times more likely than men to stay home with a sick kid. In fact, on average, women do more than twice the amount of unpaid caregiving as men do. Now, with the stay-at-home order in place, in most families, mom tends to be the parent who takes care of the kids, homeschools them, and manages her own workload all at the same time. With schools, childcare centers, and community centers in Chester County shut down due to COVID-19, this has put even more strain on families with essential workers. And what about single moms who already struggle to keep their families afloat? For these moms, the juggling act has only gotten harder with quarantine. Many are struggling to maintain steady employment, take care of their kids, and homeschool them all at the same time.
Hi everybody, my name is Wendy McKeon and I'm with Colleen Gaulis, who's behind the camera, and we're from Mom's House in Phoenixville. Mom's House provides free childcare to low-income single parents so that they can go back to school and finish their education. So our clients can be high school students, college students, tech school students, anyone working to complete their education. We're here in our preschool classroom, and as you can tell, there are no children here, and we miss them dreadfully. We've been closed down since March 13th due to the COVID virus, and we miss our kids a lot. We have been reaching out to our families during this time to make sure that we are supporting them in any way that we can. We've done 2 distributions of diapers and wipes, gift cards, toys for the kids, educational activities for the kids, just as a way to support them during this time. We are hopeful that we can reopen during the month of May. We're not entirely sure yet, but as soon as we can reopen and help our clients get back to school and have our kids back here, we will be very happy to do that. Hope you all are having a great day at the virtual conference, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. That's Mom's House in Phoenixville. Thanks so much. Bye.
So if everyone could just take a few minutes to reflect, jot down your reactions, your thoughts to what you just heard on the screen, and then we'll move on to the next segment.
Now, I'd like to share some facts about gender-based violence. This period of social distancing and quarantine puts many vulnerable women and girls in Chester County at a greater risk for domestic violence. The truth is, for many women and girls, home is just not a safe place to be. Also, additional factors like stress, drinking, and financial worries, which are all common things during a crisis, will often trigger violence at home. And the data is already clear that gender-based violence is on the rise worldwide.
At the Domestic Violence Center of Chester County, we have been providing comprehensive, around-the-clock services for survivors of family and intimate partner violence since 1976. And as an essential organization, we have been here to serve our community throughout this unprecedented time. We knew that the stay-at-home orders, keeping many isolated with their abusers, could be dangerous for victims of domestic violence, and we actually saw a 15% increase in hotline calls after the order was put in place. Our leadership promptly established procedures to assure proper sanitization and appropriate social distancing efforts to keep our staff, residents, and survivors safe and healthy. With so many staying in our Safe House shelter program, we knew they were at risk, so we safely and quickly relocated several mothers and their children to hotels throughout the county. Staff rapidly learned new technologies to continue our quality counseling services remotely. Our dedicated legal team has continued to meet with, advocate for, and represent survivors in protection from abuse cases. And our education and prevention team have encouraged our community to stay connected and are working hard to provide our evidence-based education programs virtually. We've leaned into technology as a way to engage, even developing an extensive resource guide on our website in response to COVID-19. Our work has not stopped, and we remain dedicated to providing our essential life-saving services to Chester County.
Again, just take a few minutes to reflect before we move to our third pair. And next, we're going to hear from Bella, who's a member of our Girl Gov Chester County program, and Giovanna, who's a case manager at Chester County OIC, and also our Girls Advisory Board coordinator. So just take a minute to write down anything that surprised you, any thoughts, reactions you had, and then we'll move to the next bit.
Another concern to come out of the COVID-19 crisis relates to women and their jobs. In today's workforce, women make up about 70% of all of the world's health and social sector workers. This includes nurses, social workers, and healthcare workers. These essential jobs put them on the front line of the COVID-19 crisis and greatly increase their risk of exposure and getting sick. Since women work disproportionately in sectors with low pay, they are also more at risk of losing their jobs during an economic crisis such as this one. Maybe you have family or friends who have lost their jobs due to this economic crisis. It's a great burden to bear during this uncertain time.
Greetings! My name is Giovanna Wiley and I am from Chester County OIC, a workforce development nonprofit located in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, serving all of Chester County. Our women have been impacted by COVID economically and mentally, as I'm sure many women around the nation and the world have been. Many of our women work in the food, restaurant, hotel, and retail management fields, which does not give them the opportunity to work from home. This has resulted in layoffs and women having to quit their jobs to take care of their children, as childcare is also closed. We currently have employment specialists that are researching the job market and seeing what opportunities may be available in Chester County or surrounding areas. But one of the immediate responses that my organization has taken to this pandemic is survival kits. So in these care kits, we have lotion, we have shampoo, we have cleaning products, we have hair products. And I'm so proud of my organization for taking the initiative to understand that these basic needs are happening right now in women. We partnered with the Brandywine Health Foundation to make this happen. So we would also like to thank them. And I thank the Chester County Fund for Women and Girls for putting together this summit. I'm so encouraged that we'll all get through this time, and I hope everyone's being blessed. Thanks so much.
So before we move on to our final pair, just take a few minutes again to reflect. And next, we're going to hear from Althea, who's a member of our Girl Gov Chester County program, as well as Maureen, the Executive Director of Community Volunteers in Medicine.
Finally, let's talk about how women's health is being impacted by COVID-19. During emergencies, resources are often shifted away from routine, critical services like women's health care. Even before the pandemic, these services might be limited or not as easily accessible for some women and girls, even in Chester County. Periods don't stop for pandemics. While some women can afford to stock up on tampons and pads, many cannot. Those hit hardest are women who have lost their jobs or are struggling to make ends meet. And for women and girls who might normally get menstrual products from shelters or nonprofits, they no longer have that option. Some girls rely on free products from their school nurse. It's really easy to forget about these basic essentials, especially during times like these.
My name is Maureen Tomaszuk, President and CEO of Community Volunteers in Medicine, CVIM as we're known in the community. CVIM was formed over 20 years ago, a free clinic, a comprehensive healthcare home to provide access to the low-income working families of this community who had nowhere else to go. We have over 500 volunteers who donate their time, professional licensed volunteers, doctors, nurses, dentists, as well as support volunteers who make it possible for us to serve thousands of low-income, uninsured workers in this community. We offer comprehensive services under one roof. That's our model. Medical, dental, specialty care, access to medications, integrated behavioral health, and women's health services. During the pandemic, COVID-19, CVIM is open and serving our patients. We had to pivot. We had to allow our volunteers to follow guidelines, stay at home, practice social distancing, and we converted to primarily telehealth services. We still, however, do bring in urgent patients every day, both medical needs as well as dental needs. Sadly, that means for our women's health program, many of the routine preventative services like pap tests and mammography have had to be put on hold. However, we are able to respond. Just yesterday, our gynecologist was on site addressing the needs of women who had urgent healthcare needs that could no longer be put on hold. Over half of the patients who rely on CVM are women, often the head of households, who may have already lost their job, and they need us more now than ever. And we have pivoted to help them get through these tough times. Just last week on our outreach call, we identified a family who had a new 7-month-old, and they had no formula to get through the weekend. CVIM was able to respond immediately and put together a care package to serve their needs. Now more than ever, people need access to health care, and CVIM is here to provide that. And we thank the Chester County Fund for Women and Girls as a long-standing partner to help us make that happen.
Now we'll switch back to Gabrielle and we'll do a little bit of Q&A. I know a few questions had been rolling in as the video was playing, so we'll get to those next.
Hello again. So I see that you guys are definitely taking advantage of the chat feature, which is great, just so that we can kind of see where we all are with our thoughts since we can't do it in person. So definitely go ahead and put your thoughts down in the chat. Which organization spoke to you and why, and who do you think could really benefit from getting these grants? I see here that we have a comment. I think those that are in non-essential healthcare businesses should be compensated and recognized. Another comment, I think it's incredibly important to address domestic violence in households, especially in times like this when people are tied to their homes and their violent environments. That's so true. I think that us being in this pandemic is kind of opening its own set of problems that definitely need to be addressed. You know, the world doesn't just pause because we're in this heightened shutdown. You know, things are still happening and things still need to be addressed. So definitely put your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll hop over to our pop quiz questions, our Q&A. So we have a couple of questions for you all. They'll come up on the screen and you guys just choose which answer you think is the right one. Super simple. So they will come up on the screen. So our first question, single mom Alexis is working on her college degree. Now her classes are online and she has no childcare. How can mom's house help? So go ahead and choose what you think is the correct answer. Give you a couple of moments here. All right. And yes, the answer is D, both A and C, free diapers and wipes, and educational games and activities. I think a lot of parents are coming to realize just how important teachers and educators are during this time, now that learning is happening from home. It's no joke to have the responsibility to be educating and taking care of our children. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Just how I see is this comment as well here in the chat. Women play such an important role in all of our lives. And now that they don't have jobs, it's so easy for me to forget that some people don't have access to things as simple as pads and tampons. So totally true. I think this time in quarantine has definitely put almost a flashlight on some of the privileges that I have in the position that I am. The fact that I am able to work from home is a privilege that not a lot of people get. So, I mean, something as simple as pads and tampons that a lot of us don't have to think twice about is a luxury to others. So that's super, super awesome. So let's take a look at our next question. By what percentage have domestic abuse hotline calls increased since stay-at-home orders went into effect? So go ahead and take a few moments here and choose which answer you think is the best, the correct answer. All right, yeah, you guys are right on the money. The correct answer is B, 15%. Yeah, again, I think something that a lot of us don't have to think about, and I mean prayerfully that we don't have to think about, right? We just really don't know what people's situations are. And now that it's mandated for us to stay home, people that live in those violent environments don't have that out anymore, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But the hotlines are such a great resource. So it's good to see that people are getting the help that they need. Our third question, how have OIC's female clients been impacted by COVID-19? Go ahead and take a few minutes and choose the best answer for this question. All right, so let's see how we did. Awesome, correct. All of the above. So OIC's female clients have experienced layoffs, forced to quit jobs to take care of their children, lacked funds for basic healthcare products, all of the above. So great job on that one. And here's our last question. Mariah is pregnant with her second child. She relies on healthcare at CVIM. Which services can she not access during COVID-19? All right. Oh, wow, we are split 50-50 here. So the correct answer is C, at-home nurse visits. Right. That's awesome. That's really wild that we are 50-50 split there. Okay, so here comes the moment of truth while we have all gathered here today. Now is the time for you all to choose two organizations that will be selected for two 500 mini grants that are available. So I super want to encourage you guys to use this chat feature to speak and advocate for the organization that you think should receive one of these mini grants. Now, this is not monopoly money. This is real hard, cold cash. These organizations will be receiving this money, and this money will go to these issues that we discussed today. So your voice matters, your vote matters. So make sure you take this as seriously as it needs to be taken, right? This money can really help and assist women that need it right now. So make sure you choose an organization that you think that should receive one of these grants. And we will soon enough know who these two organizations will be. So go ahead and choose one, and the top two organizations will receive those grants. And just some things to think about too as you're choosing, what organizations are having the biggest impact? Which ones are responding to the most critical needs? Which organizations need the money the most? So just keep those in mind as you choose which nonprofit you would like to see these grants go to. All right, thank you all for taking the time to vote and choose who will be getting these 2 mini grants. So as we're getting closer to the end, which is I know super sad, I'd love for you guys to drop down in the chat box what's something that you learned, you know, and what actions and steps that you can take after this summit. We heard so many inspiring things from all these nonprofits, from Moaning Davis. So just drop down in the chat with something that you can take away from our time spent here at our summit. And as we can see, we have our poll results in as well. So these 2 mini grants will be going to Domestic Violence Center of Chester County and Chester County OIC. Super awesome, guys. You're making a difference in these 2 organizations, which is awesome. You should be really proud of yourselves. Real hard, cold cash. Awesome. So I just wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for coming out today. This was such a great experience. I know this is definitely a different format than what the Girls in Action Summit usually is, but I think it was just as impactful and beneficial. And I hope you got a lot out of it as well. So before we go out, I hope you remembered we still have 2 raffle winners to announce. So those 2 lucky ladies are Juliana Levine. You have won a $35 Body Shop gift card. Again, that's Juliana Levine. And our last raffle winner is Hailey Welsh. Hailey Welsh, you have won the Ultimate Movie Night package. Congratulations to our 3 raffle winners today. Thank you so much for spending this time here with us. It was an honor to be your MC. I was just happy to see you guys make such a big difference. It was awesome. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle to close us out.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Hi, guys. My name is Michelle. I'm the Executive Director of the Fund for Women and Girls. And I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you learned a bit about our community in this crisis, and were able to just learn a little bit about and explore your own passions. And I also just want to thank you for being philanthropists with us today and helping us make some really important decisions about how we want to help the women and girls in our community. So thank you again for being part of that. Of course, I also want to thank Gabrielle, who has spent a lot of time helping us plan for this event and just guided us through the whole experience. She's awesome, and we want to thank Monet and a lot of folks who helped behind the scenes. We had Hannah, one of our Gab girls, who really pitched in, and Maddie, as well as our staff, of course. And all our girls who helped with the videos and our nonprofit partners. So it really takes a village, especially in this weird time where we had to pivot. And so we want to thank all of you who have helped us with that. And our sponsors. We had a lot of community support because a lot of folks really believe in empowering young women and girls. And so we want to thank our Chester County Women's Commission, Capacity for Change, 2120 Creative, Commissioner Marion Moskowitz, Helena Astolfi, and Tim and Judy Bell. They are really, again, awesome and just really helped make today possible. And finally, I just want to encourage you to stay connected with us. You met some of our Gab girls and our Girl Gov girls through the video, and some of them participated today. And so they are members of programs that we run throughout the school year. And right now we are open, we have the applications open for rising 10th graders and 11th and 12th graders as well, who are eligible, who live in Chester County and are eligible to apply for these programs. So I encourage you to go to our website, which is www.ccfwg.org. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook as well, and Twitter. So you can learn more about how to apply for those programs so that you can continue to be involved. And also you'll be getting a follow-up email from us, which has a really awesome resource guide, which kind of goes into depth about some of the stuff that was talked about today. It highlights a lot of young girl entrepreneurs in our community that you can support, and just some other cool things that you might find interesting, especially while you're at home, spending some time in quarantine. So look out for that email, and also a survey will be in that email too. So it's a quick couple of questions so that we can better serve you in terms of our programs and really be able to share information that you guys want to know. So thank you for your help with all that. Thanks for being here, and I hope you all stay well and healthy. Take care.